Chapter 24, Mastery or Bust. In the community where I moved, there's a homeowners association composed of 18 townhomes. Many of my neighbors are getting on in years. One by one, they came to me, fed up with the HOA president, urging me to run for the board. I tried to put them off because the one thing I loathe more than anything is politics. Politics, to me, is a distraction engine, a performance of power without truth. Anything that takes me away from the real work, from the soul work I came here to do, feels like theft. When the treasurer died, suddenly there was a vacuum, and once again they turned to me. This time it wasn't about leadership, it was logistics. They needed someone to step in and take over the financials. I laughed. Accounting software? Budgets and spreadsheets? No siree. That's not where I belonged. I didn't have the time or desire to learn the inner workings of HOA finances. I also didn't want to leave my community hanging. I took a beat and asked myself a different question. Where am I best suited? The answer came quickly. My real skill lies in communication, translating the complexity into clarity and in seeing patterns where others see problems. I wouldn't say I fix problems because true solutions don't override another's right to choose. However, I facilitate new paths. I sense what's stuck and I get energy moving again. If I have a superpower, that might be it. I said no to the treasurer position, but I agreed to be VP. Then I moved into action, not by crunching numbers, but by calling in specialists to assess a current situation. This is key. Know your gifts, honor your design, move from alignment. Serve the whole by staying true to yourself. 15 years ago, I made a decision that still holds. I vowed never to attend another public demonstration. That might seem surprising for someone who's not afraid of a fight for what's right. But this decision wasn't about fear. It was about strategy. At one time, I would have been the one on the front row, waving my sign, yelling for justice. Then I learned they were targeting people. Not metaphorically, literally. Demonstrators on the wrong side of the political spectrum had their license plates photographed, their taxes audited, their names added to lists. The Tea Party protests were one such example. Those who spoke out found themselves flagged, investigated, and erased. For those on the wrong side of the narrative, the price was steep. Arrests, surveillance, harassment, even death. I remembered Charlene Woodard, the actress arrested for demonstrating at the pipeline protests in the Dakotas. Her story was to bring attention to the matter by getting arrested. I realized that isn't mine. Protesting isn't my battlefield. It doesn't mean I don't care. It doesn't mean I'm passive. It means I choose strategy over symbolism. I do not feel compelled to scream into a megaphone when I know I am better at reshaping thought systems from the inside. I decided my real job is not to march, but to influence the frequency grid. My gifts are not signs and slogans. They're narrative repatterning, soul alchemy, energetic infiltration. I move differently now, not quietly, but with clarity and precision. That brings us back to the eternal question, the loaf of bread. Do you keep it or do you give it away? If you're here to help the world, are you meant to sacrifice yourself in the process? Or are you meant to stay alive, stay grounded, stay strong, so you can fulfill your mission? I still don't know the absolute answer to that question. I suspect there isn't one. I do lean toward the airplane mask philosophy. You can't help others if you're passed out from lack of oxygen. You secure your own mask first, not from selfishness, but from strategy. So maybe the answer is give away the bread, but become someone who no longer needs to eat it. Jane says, I actually met a person that lives that way. I say, oh really? Did it work? Jane answers, he joined a dinner club years ago when I was running dinners for single people. I thought, but mate, you don't eat. I think you might be better off going to cocktail parties. I say, oh, did he drink? Jane said, no, he was into very clean living. I laugh. No eating, no drinking, no chewing, no sipping. Got it. Just getting the rules down. Well, sometimes the most powerful roles we play are the ones that don't look heroic from the outside. Sometimes we take on positions that don't match our obvious talents, and yet they lead us to where we're supposed to be. Over time, after a lot of misfires and misdirection, I think I figured out what I am. Jane says, "What is that?" I respond, "I think I'm an alchemist of the soul." Jane responds, "Yes, absolutely. That's it. 100%. I respond, "What we've been circling around this whole time, this journey of awakening, purification, release, remembering, it's all alchemy, soul alchemy, the transmutation of base experience into spiritual gold." Jane says, "Yes, I think everybody will become a master of some sort of self-alchemy. Hence why injustice and lack of compassion or elitism fire you up. They're the same things that fire me up." I respond, "For a while, I thought I was an energy transmitter. In a past life in Lemuria, I wore long red robes and stood on a high promontory with arms outstretched, channeling raw energy from the heavens to the people below. I was a human antenna. It didn't end well. My body burned from the inside out. The servant who tended to me as I died, she's my daughter in this lifetime. Before that revelation, I believed I was meant to be a conceptualist, a translator of invisible truths, someone who sees what others cannot yet articulate and puts it into words that ripple through the collective. I help people see the matrix. I gave them language for what they didn't yet know they were feeling. I transmitted energy through my voice and presence until my guides told me to stop, not because it wasn't needed, but because it was debilitating me. They told me, you're not here to burn your insides out anymore. I've had lifetimes of sacrifice, one as a gladiator fighting for the freedom of the enslaved. I was like Spartacus. Again, I was told, not this time. The message became clear. You are here to survive this time, not suffer, not to martyr yourself, not to self-immolate for a cause. You are here to do the work and stay intact. Jane says, you've made it to this point in this incarnation. It doesn't make any sense for you to be a sacrificial lamb now, no sense whatsoever. I respond, so do you give the starving person that piece of bread, or do you preserve your life so you can continue awakening others? Jane says, you save yourself. I feel clear on that. It's not an ego or a selfish thing. It's knowing there's a job to be done, and it's not saying the other person isn't as important or more important or less important than you, but it's knowing your role to play in this. That must be protected at all costs. I say, yes, that's right. It's not service to self. It's service through self, through clarity, through embodiment, and through survival. Jane says, now, in that same action, you could project your intention for that person to have an effortless process of getting bread from the place next door within the next half an hour. That's the win. You visually see them thriving. I respond, perfect. That's the magic. Intention is not passive. Intention is influence. Those of us who've been on this path have been working with intention for a long time now. It's at the root of everything. Every prayer, every declaration, every word. These are energetic commands. It starts with your thoughts. Take Dr. Masaru Emoto's work with water. His experiments can change your life. He showed that water responds to intention. Words, images, sound, all of them shape the crystalline structure of water. Positive intention produces exquisite geometries. Negative intention creates distortions, blackness, and chaos. You are mostly water. What do you think happens when you call yourself beautiful? When you speak lovingly to your reflection? Your cells respond. You literally become what you declare. It goes deeper. True intention is not a request. It's an acknowledgement, a sacred assumption. It's not begging the universe to fix something. It's thanking the universe for what has already occurred. Intention is gratitude for the future, as if it's already here. In that moment, time collapses. The illusion breaks. When you say, I am healed, and mean it, not as a hope, but as a knowing, the universe adjusts itself to reflect that truth. Look at yourself in the mirror each morning and say, hello, beautiful. You are radiant today. That becomes your reality. Don't say, God, I look so old. I look tired. Look at those wrinkles. Or watch what follows. You create your reality with every word. Speak the future into the present. Appreciate it as if it's already true. You will collapse timelines, activate your own quantum field, and step into mastery. We are not here to wait for miracles. We are here to become them. I am, not I will. Jane says, I love that you've mentioned bringing it into a state of it's already having happened. So it's, I am grateful for my vitality and beauty. The I am statement is more powerful than the I will. I say, the word intention, although it sounds right, is still not correct because that word still pushes the desired outcome into the future. It creates a gap, an energetic distance. If you're creating a product and your intent is to heal people, it's more powerful to move it into present tense completion. Thank you for healing the masses with this product. That already happened gratitude creates the field for which healing becomes real. Jane says, so it's gratitude. Beautiful. Regarding Dr. Emoto's work, I wanted to add that Darren Weissman worked with Dr. Emoto and went on to do the experiments with blood. You can see before and after in his book, The Power of Infinite Love and Gratitude. He's got a stack of before and after photos showing the intention used on blood work. You can see somebody who's turned up stressed, and he's done the blood work before and then after with the power of intention, of infinite love and gratitude. What has resulted in the blood work after is fabulous. Intention is something that's happening regardless of whether people are aware of it or not. Meaning, if people are not aware of their thoughts, their intentions can harm them. The more that we become consciously aware of our thoughts and redirect them toward the positive, the more benefit it is to us. I say, thought is everything. It's the originating code. It begins with the thought, then the word, then the deed, just like it says in the Bible. They got that right. You have to begin with the root, direct the thought, and the action follows. This is where many people miss the mark. We try to change behavior at the surface level, but we never go back and untangle the hijacked thought that created it. We've been programmed in so many directions, from so many angles, that even our thoughts no longer belong to us. They've been injected, rewired, weaponized. We've been trained to think small, to think old, to think helpless. We've been trained to misidentify with every passing thought as if it were truth. It's not. Reclaim the script. Let's take age as an example. My mother never wanted her age revealed, partly because she was in the public eye and well aware of the deep prejudice that exists against older women, especially those in the spotlight. It was also because she understood something most people never actualize. If you think your age, your body responds to it. She knew that the number wasn't neutral, that each age carries with it a host of cultural programming and embedded beliefs. The moment you identify with a number, especially if you believe what that number means, you begin unconsciously living out its story. We are conditioned to think 62 means something, that 82 means something, that 42 or 22 means something. The body, so beautifully adaptive and intelligent, responds in kind. Maybe this came from her. Maybe it was my own spirit refusing to be boxed in. As a teenager, I never felt my age. I didn't carry the number. People would ask, "How old are you?" And I'd pause, mentally do the math, and say, "Oh, I'm 16. It always felt distant, like I was calculating math homework. Eventually, I stopped playing the game. When people asked my age, I'd simply say, "I don't do age. I don't. I do vibrational state. I do coherence. I do mastery. I don't do numbers that come with the script I never agreed to." Because every story you unconsciously live out was once a thought you didn't catch. Every thought you catch and reclaim becomes another key to your liberation. This is the path of the rebel, the infinite sovereign, the alchemist of soul. It's not about escaping the system. It's about transmuting the code. It starts always with the thought. Thank you for listening to this excerpt.